Welcome to New York Life's Greater Atlanta General Office. Come on in. When I came to New York Life, I really wanted to learn how to do it the right way, and more importantly, to be able to teach people how to do it the right way. This is our facility that leads over to the management area. And this is one of the walls area that we're very proud of at our office here. This is the highest level of achievement our agents achieve, which is the Chairman's Council. We call this the Wall of Fame. This wall continues with our Executive Council agents and with our President's Council agents here. This is my office.
What impressed me most about New York Life is that it's a company with a lot of integrity. It's a brand name out there, and the systems of the company are awesome, and the management and the support that we have.
This is the area what we call a bullpen, which is where our agents have a seat for themselves. And these are some of our agents just walking around, part of their bullpen. Say hello, guys. Hi.
I have a lot of flexibility. I can take care of my children, take care of my family. I can balance everything out and at the same time make decent amount of money. So that was the real motivation of doing it.
Our business is helping people. There's a lot of confusion that always surrounds our business in the financial marketplace. Sometimes it's the recession, sometimes the depression, sometimes the taxes, sometimes it's the fiscal cliff. Any of these things present an opportunity for us to touch base and clarify it for our clients, to give them cutting edge information so they can take advantage of the existing economic environment.
I've been at New York Life since 2009. I knew I wanted to be a partner at New York Life very soon after I came on board, simply because I've seen the great opportunities that New York Life offered and the potential for growth.
My mom was in this business for 28 years. But my dad died without any life insurance whatsoever. We owned a restaurant here in Atlanta, and when he passed away in a plane crash, he left my mom, me, my brother, and a struggling Chinese restaurant. And so she thought to herself, why were we so naive? Why didn't we have the proper planning, the proper insurance intact? And so when he passed away, she was left with nothing. And so she decided to come into this business so what happened to her wouldn't happen to anyone else. And so that's been the main reason why I'm in this profession, because I want to continue not only my mom's legacy, but to protect families and to help families plan for the future. I do so many different things for so many different families. I protect their families. I help secure those families' futures by planning for retirement, by helping them set up college funding. But I think at the core of it, most importantly, is I do protect these families. We always have our clients' best interest at our top priority.
My name is Meredith Moore. I'm an agent with New York Life and a registered investment advisor through Eagle Strategies. What impressed me most about New York Life when I came on board was more of the options and paths that you could choose within New York Life. You didn't just have to be about insurance, but there were investment advisory paths, there were group benefit paths. I didn't feel constrained to one model of business. What motivated me to start in this profession was that I was looking for a way to utilize my technical educational background as well as being able to interact with the public. I feel like I have both a left and a right brain, and this was an industry and a platform where I could do that.
We take a lot of pride in this room because this is where all it happens. Come on, let me show it to you. All our classes are conducted over here. The instructor comes in. We have smart boards where we can print out whatever we write on the board can be printed out, and we have two projection screens that play the video, and we do a lot of WebEx, which is web-based training in this room.
My name is Tim Martin, and I'm a registered representative at New York Life Insurance Company. I've been with New York Life for 13 years now. What impressed me most about New York Life when I came on board was the 3-year training program. It was really good to know that since I've never sold anything in my life, I had a 3-year program to run on to teach me how to be successful in financial services. I think New York Life is set apart from others in this field because we always do the right thing, and we don't just work with the most affluent people, we work with middle America. So anybody who really cares about their family can be a New York Life client.
I think a client should choose New York Life because New York Life has been around for 167 years, a very strong company, and the fact that New York Life pays its claims and it keeps its promises.
The potential is breathtaking. We could literally explode from where we are in the next 5 to 10 years to become the premier office for New York Life in a rapidly short period of time.
People are going to be hearing more and more about New York Life, and they'll be a lot more aware of it, I think.
We pride ourselves on some of the best possible commercials. So we got copies of all the commercials or advertisement that we put out in the newspapers. The company is one of the most consistent companies I've ever seen, very focused on what we're trying to do and very focused on our people and being consistently there for our people, not changing course as a lot of companies have done in the past.
I really believe that this is a fantastic place to work, and that if you really put your mind to it and put all your effort and all your strength towards it, you can have a 40, 50-year career and you'll never want to retire.
People feel that their money and their investments are safe and secure with New York Life, and that's very, very important to people.
The thing that continues to impress me most about New York Life is the unwavering support of the agents. Whether it's a question that you have for the IPS staff, whether it's a question you have for the trainer or established agents, it's always a family here at New York Life. There's never a question that you can have that will go unanswered. And so there's a very much of a, even though it's a competitive field here within the GO, it's also an environment where it fosters a lot of teamwork.
Let me show you what happens and the possibilities. This is one of our agents' office, Jan Spector. Let me walk you over to our nerve center of our office. This is our admin area. We have our people who process upwards of 2,200 applications that were actually delivered, but there were more close to 3,000 applications or client business that was processed this year out of this area. Our business is helping people. There's a lot of confusion that always surrounds our business in the financial marketplace. Sometimes it's the recession, sometimes the depression, sometimes the taxes, sometimes it's the fiscal cliff. Any of these things present an opportunity for us to touch base and clarify it for our clients, to give them cutting-edge information so they can take advantage of the existing economic environment. This is the other bullpen area where agents get started in their careers. Let me just walk you through.
I think what sets our company aside is the mutuality and the tradition here at New York Life. We've been around 167 years, and I think it separates us from just about everybody else in the industry.
We're building our office on 5 core philosophies. That sets us apart from everybody else. And they're very close to my heart. That's what I have learned, and I have come to believe in them. That sets us apart, and they are, right from number 1, we're professional. We're one of the most professional offices. Our environment, our conduct amongst ourselves, with our people, our professional designations that our people hold, are depiction of the highest professionalism that is in the industry. Number 2 is we are systems oriented. We have systems for pretty much everything that we do, which I don't find a lot out there in our industry. We bring on the people through right systems, we train them through right systems, we manage their career systematically. Number 3, we're a diverse people. Our office reflects the diversity that exists in the Atlanta community. So we have different ethnic backgrounds, people from different geographic areas. We have people from Chinese descent, Asian Indian descent, Vietnamese, Korean, Russian, and that's how we want our office to be reflective of the community that we live in. We are also focused on industry standards, meaning our people perform at the level of industry standards, which are quite high, but that's what our benchmarks are. And number 5, we are truly builders of people, meaning we want our people to grow. Everything that we do, every day that we do, is to help people grow, either professionally or financially, or however they want to grow, but they have to grow and they have the opportunity to do that.
My name is Mei Chen.
My name is Richard Adams, and I'm an executive counsel agent with New York Life.
I have been with the New York Life for almost 13 years.
What continues to impress me about New York Life is their level of professionalism, both in the field with handling the clients and with the agents individually. And that level of professionalism is what allows us to, I guess, reach the heights or have the potential to reach the heights that I haven't seen with any other company.
It's just the possibility of doing something big, and in our industry, that's the opportunity people get.
Exactly what I do is I approach each client as a family project. If it's anything I do that I feel is different than other agents, is that each individual I view as a family, and I pursue it as a family project. And that works. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I look at it from a decade, if not a century, commitment to them, because I know New York Life will be around for that long.
This would be an area where our agents can have a private conversation with their clients. Well, this is our management conference room. This is where all the fun and action happens. This is what we call our boardroom. We really do care for our people and their wishes and their families.
Let's try to do it real life. Okay, so if you guys can put on the hat of the client and try to act like a client, then I'll be the agent, and let's just see how it works. And for some of you who are memorizing your script right now, be careful that you're not looking too hard at making sure every word is mentioned, because as you develop in math, you want to get the whole thing memorized so you can pass your audition. But as you're working with people, a higher level is to be able to tailor this thing perfectly for your client. So you'll have all the steps, you'll have the 6 steps, you'll have the 10 points in each step, but I may emphasize different things depending on how your client goes. So don't get too caught up in the verbatim memorization here. But try to act like a client. Now, how do you do this? How do you get into this? When do you start this, telling this story? As early as possible in the engagement with the client. That could even be, you've met somebody for 20 minutes for coffee.
So before you can do a fact finding.
Oh, yeah. Anybody, you got a thought of why you might do it before a fact finder? Anybody, did you think through that? Why might that be important?
So that you're different.
So it's different, so they can be curious and trust you. Yeah, these are truisms. Why should they give you all their numbers? Have you ever found any resistance in fact-finding? Do you feel like you're going through the fact-finding and somewhere or another they're holding back a little, or they're not sure they want to, they're not sure that they want to give you everything? Sometimes. A guy like you with your charisma, you might get that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you want them wanting to give you all their numbers. So when you've told them the story first, and the end of the story is, well, where we go from here, if you'd like, is I can put your numbers into the model. Well, if they like the model and they like the story, then they want to give you all their numbers and they want to get it accurate so it's on the model. So it just becomes an easy thing to do and get all the numbers right. So as early as possible in the engagement process, you get started on it. So we'll do it. Now you guys know there's a few times in here where I'm asking that you're asking the client some questions. Now you know the answers to these questions, but your clients don't. So try to keep your client hat on and answer like you think the clients would answer, okay? So I would get started. Matter of fact, let's make sure you get into this a little bit. Even maybe I'm in your office, you're a business owner, small business owner or something, I'm in your office, and we've had 2 minutes of niceties and finding out a little bit about each other, and then I say, if you have 20 minutes or so, let me show you kind of how I work with people. I'll show you a concept that I think you'll appreciate. Sure. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But let's say they do. Then you might even stand up and go over to a whiteboard. Why would you do that? Who goes over to the whiteboard? Teachers, instructors, right? We're starting right from the start to set the parameters here. Instead of them sitting back and they're the expert, well, what do you got to sell me? You know, I'm going to teach you something. You know, so I'm going to go up here. So this model is what we call a macro asset perspective, or the map. It's designed to give you a visual picture of where your assets can be placed and why. Now this vertical arrangement of the boxes, that has to do with the concept of vertical diversification, or risk diversification. That is the safe, the moderate, and the aggressive arena. Now, no matter who you're talking to, you know, bankers, financial planners, insurance agents, CPAs, everybody pretty much understands these three broad areas of diversification. And I'm sure you would agree it's a good idea to diversify in some way or another, right? But why is that a good idea? Let me explain. If you draw a line across the middle, assets above the line are sometimes referred to as paper assets. Now that's just because their value isn't fixed until the time they're actually sold, right? They move up and down in value. If you think of your 401k statement, if it's invested in the stock market, as most are, you'll notice it goes up and down, right? We used to think it only went up, but now we know it goes in both directions. Assets found below the line are sometimes referred to as real wealth or stable wealth. That's because they're fixed. They don't go down in value. They don't go up a lot either. They go up at interest or dividends, that sort of thing. But how much you have above or below the line, that's going to depend on a number of factors: your age, your risk tolerance, your holding period, that sort of thing. But generally speaking, the older you are, the more you want below the line, right? Matter of fact, you may have heard of a Wall Street rule of thumb that suggests you have your age as a percentage of your assets below the line. So a 20-year-old might have 20% safe and secure and 80% in the market for growth, where an 80-year-old might have 80% safe and stable and just 20% as an inflation hedge above the line, right? This vertical diversification, this has been around for a long time. It's been touted for decades. Everybody understands that. But what's come along more recently is the concept of horizontal diversification. That's why there are 6 boxes instead of just 3 boxes. Now, horizontal diversification is real easy to understand because there's really just 2 broad areas of tax treatments when it comes to saving and investing. And horizontal diversification is diversification between tax treatments. So you have pre-tax assets and after-tax assets. Now, what do I mean by a pre-tax asset, clients? What do I mean by a pre-tax asset?
401k?
Sure, 401k, what else?
IRA.
Pension plan?
Pension, IRA maybe?
IRA can be, sure, these sorts of things. This is where you've put your money away before it's been taxed. It's called a pre-tax investment. Everything else, by definition, is an after-tax investment. That is, you got your money, you paid your taxes on it, then you invest it. That is an after-tax investment, so it goes on the after-tax side. Now, for years and years, people like me have always said, and you've always heard, put everything you can on the pre-tax side. As much as you can into IRAs, deductible IRAs, 401ks, that sort of thing. But why has that been such a good idea? What's the big advantage? Clients, what do clients say, do you think? Tax deduction. I get a tax deduction. I get leverage on my money. Instead of going to Uncle Sam, it's working for me. That's exactly one of the things they say. Anything else? It's around, it's usually something around that line. And you say, that's true, it is a tax deduction, but that's not what makes that pre-tax side work. Let me explain it to you. I'll start it for you and I'll bet you'll remember it. It goes like this. I'm going to defer taxes when I'm in my high income earning years, because later when I draw the money out, I'll be in a lower tax bracket. That's the mantra that's been around since the 1980s. Many people have forgotten that, but when we bring it back up, they remember, oh yeah, because most people don't think they're going to be in a lower tax bracket in the future anymore, but that used to be the mantra, right? Any idea, clients, what the top marginal tax bracket was back in the 1980s when these things were popularized? What might they say?
40%.
They might say 40, they might say 30, they might say 20, they might say 45, but they won't say, what's the answer? 70. They won't say 70. They're surprised when you say it was 70%. You're not in the business, right? So you didn't know that, did you?
No.
She's surprised. So see, there it is, a real case example.
Trevor asked a question.
70% was the top marginal tax bracket back in the 1980s. And here's the thing. There were 15 different tax brackets. So let me explain the history of what happened. You had people, let's just say you had someone earning $100,000. Good money, especially back then for sure, right? But that put you in over a 50% tax bracket. And what happened was, people said, I don't need $100,000 when I retire. I can live on $80,000 inflation adjusted. And what that would do is move them down some tax brackets because of all those tax brackets, right? Now, how did that work? That worked perfectly. Because today, how many tax brackets do you think you move down today when you go from 100,000 to 80,000 as a married couple? It's around zero. Yeah, zero. You go down zero. So what happens today is these people that were deferring at 50, 60, even 70%, they're retired today. Most of them are paying in a 25 or 28% tax bracket, right? So it worked perfectly for them. But today we have just 7 tax brackets today. That, by the way, is a revision as of a week ago. We had 6 up until a couple weeks ago. We have 7 tax brackets, the top of which is still in the 30s, under 40%, 39.6%. And most people find themselves in a 25 or 28% tax bracket, right?